Everybody, we have a very special guest with us today. Please welcome Tianyu, author, consultant, Gen AI practitioner extraordinaire. I am very excited to have you on here and talk to you about all things AI. Before I start getting excited and throwing questions at you, please tell us about yourself.
Thank you so much, Beck, and thank you for inviting me for the for this podcast. This is Tianyu. I'm based in Singapore. I in my daily life, I help people develop skills to master generative AI. My sole focus is generative AI, and within the scope of generative AI, I deep dive into the top tools per category. For example, within the AI assistants, I focus on ChatGPT, Gemini, and Copilot. And within the image models, I focus on DALL-E, Midjourney, and a few others. And within the AI video models, now my focus is Runway and Clean, because I believe this is the way that I can the most impact to people's productivity and creativity in their daily life, because these tools have the biggest reach across all.
Fantastic. That right there tells us a lot about you and your skills. And this is a perfect segue into the main question that I want to ask you. A big thing in AI right now is it's quote unquote coming for your jobs, right? In your professional opinion, can you talk about what can people do in this now AI-driven world to stay relevant in the business world, and how can someone ensure job security?
Sure, this is the topic that everyone is searching for on Google. We have this book, right? That's why we
Yes.
that's why we use this as a title. Will ChatGPT take my job? The original idea of the title for the book is different, but
Huh.
we did a research on Google and we realized that most people are searching for this. This is one of the top search queries, and it really addresses the concern that people are having. So the book is focused on winning strategies for managers. The book is not focused on will ChatGPT take your job or not, but it's focused on winning strategies and how to stay ahead of time, how to stay ahead in the AI-powered workplace. So how do we survive in the AI-powered workplace? I think, as we have observed in the past 2 years, this trend is the trend of generative AI development and adoption is only going up, right? And it's unlikely that this technology will suddenly pause or will suddenly disappear. So it's already part of our work life. So the best way is to embrace it and understand how it works, understand the models. First of all, learn the models, learn how these tools work, and then test the tool on your daily task. Identify the best tools for each of your use cases, and then practice until you become an expert in the aspect in the scope that you're working on. Yeah. So first of all, you become an expert. You can become an AI expert in your scope by mastering these AI tools, and then you also have to double down on the human skills, because we're working with humans, and we still have some unique skills or unique characteristics that can never be replaced by AI.
Thank you. Yes.
And our approach in this book is that although we spend 7 chapters talking about AI, we also have 1 chapter talking about the essential human skills that we must have, or we should double down on our investment in to stand out in the AI-powered workforce.
Beautiful. Perfect. I love that you're saying know these tools, know them well, but double down on who you are and your skills.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's perfect. That's perfect. Which is the perfect segue to the next question. How do you think AI will transform the job place in different fields in the upcoming years?
Generally speaking, I think AI, especially generative AI, is transforming almost every field. Some people don't even realize that. Some people don't even use AI. So if I go to workshops, I ask people, how many of you are using ChatGPT? Most people raise their hand. But there are still people who don't use ChatGPT, right? Then I ask, do you have WhatsApp on your phone? Yes, they have. And have you chatted with the WhatsApp AI? Okay, then then they have. So essentially, everybody have used generative AI to some degree, to some extent. And even for those who, I've been speaking to some friends whose companies do not allow them to use ChatGPT, but they do have access to Copilot, right? They have Copilot in
Interesting.
Excel, they have Copilot everywhere. That is also generative AI, right? That is also using
Of
GPT-4,
course.
DALL-E, and other models.
Of
So
course.
it's everywhere, and I think if we break down every single industry and every the scope of every role, there are ways that we can use generative AI to improve the efficiency, streamline the process. And there are also uh, areas that generative AI can not help or maybe will never help. So this is also it's also important to identify which areas we need to double down more on human skills and which areas
Hmm.
use AI to help us do the heavy lifting.
Makes sense. You had mentioned the speed in which Gen AI, particularly, is developing in the last 2 years at this point, right?
Yeah.
What are some of the more exciting developments that you've seen in particularly the visual side of AI generation?
Yeah, I'm actually most excited about the visual developments
Okay.
because I come from the market research and data analytics background.
Uh-huh.
I've been doing presentations I've been presenting data for quite some years, and every time I try to find visual because it's not easy to present data. And you need to find visuals to support the story. Otherwise, when people see the numbers on the screen, they get bored.
Hmm.
So I was a big fan of data visualization and data art at that time. When I first started using Midjourney, then I realized that wow, you can actually create anything you imagine just by keying the prompt. Of course you can't create a data visualization
Right.
with Journey with accuracy, but you can create almost anything else. Uh, that's how that's why I think it's uh, if I can create this, right? Because I'm not from the creative background. If I can create something like this, or if I can create a video, then most people can also do this. So that's why I found this is most exciting, and the development of the visual generative AI models are actually empowering most people to reimagine their creative content. And lately, I think the the latest development is even more exciting because we are into the videos. At this time last year, um, I still suggest my clients to give up on the AI video because they want to produce AI generated content with video with they are expecting the smooth outcome. At this time, August. So sorry, today I'm in August and you are still in July.
July 31st, yes.
Yes, today I'm in August. I'm from the future.
Uh-huh.
Today I'm in August 1st of August, 2024.
Uh-huh.
At this time last year, it was impossible to create anything smoothly moving
Yes.
for more than 2 seconds.
Yes.
It's impossible. Then at the end of last year, there was a major development, right? So that we have more control, more motion. We have more features like motion control, camera control on runway. Then there's also Pika 1.0 that goes slightly beyond 2 seconds. So that was a major development. By then, I started to make more AI video experiment from 7 months ago. Until now, I think we are living through a major breakthrough in
Hmm.
the few weeks, especially this week, because you've heard we all heard of Sora, right? Sora is the generative AI video model developed by OpenAI. You can create 1 minute long videos, consistent videos with Sora, with no with almost no mistakes, no hallucination. So that was released in February this year, but nobody has access to. 99%
Right.
of the world do not have access to. So until recently we have access to Luma's Dream Machine, then Runway's Gen 3, then Kuaiso's Clean. And
Now
all
recently
three
clean.
models
Yeah.
are very similar. I mean, maybe they are not at the Sora level yet, but they are very similar. And that enables you to create longer videos, 5 second, 10-second videos,
Yeah.
just based on prompts.
Yeah.
And you can animate your images, right? And that unlocks a huge possibility of all creative ideas. So
I
yeah,
absolutely agree.
this is the most exciting part that I find as of today, as of this week.
I absolutely agree. So a couple months back, when I first started my LinkedIn journey, I did an AI video where, and then it was all open source. I developed it on my own machine, put a bunch of pieces together, where I was a one-man band, right? It was 17 seconds of me playing the guitar, piano, singing, right? Everything was AI generated, including my likeness. It took those 17 seconds with lip syncing and everything, took me 3 days to make. 3 days for 17 seconds, right?
Yeah.
Now, using the tools that we have, I could probably do that in a couple of hours.
Remember the cat flamingo documentary I made in December last year. I spent more than 20 hours working on that. From image to video generation, I generated hundreds of videos. Most of them failed. Now when I remake the same video last Saturday, I spent like 2 hours.
Mhm.
That's it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that is yeah. This is mind blowing. I,
Yeah,
I'm
it's mind
I'm
blowing.
yeah, I'm quite impressed with the accuracy and the yeah and the output. The quality of the output is pretty consistent.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
with that,
yeah.
we can make a lot. We can have a lot of possibilities. Like so, for example,
Completely agree.
if we just take a screenshot of our Zoom meeting of our meeting today, we don't have to do. We can even mock a video interview without saying anything.
Mhm.
We can make the entire meeting. We can make this entire podcast generated by AI just
Yeah,
based on two photos of you and me.
theoretically, you could do
Crazy.
that. Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Everybody watching right now, we are real. We are not avatars. Just throwing that out there.
This is real. This is a real video
This is a
and
real video.
not
Yes,
avatars yet. Not yet.
not yet, not yet. Well, the stuff is moving so fast, right? I mean, like we talked about 3 months ago, took me 3 days to, make a 17-second video. Now we're talking hours. Um, how how do people keep up with this? How do you think we can keep up with just such rapid enhancements? Uh, and and it's not just one tool; it's multiple tools that are coming at you, right? How does
Yeah,
somebody keep up?
I think the purpose of learning anything new is not to learn the tool, but to learn the underlying technology,
Hmm.
methodology, and how it works, and test it in your own, in your with your own use cases. The the essence of that is to identify the transferable skills, um, like that you can move on from one tool to another, and then move on to another. It's like what maybe it's like 5 years ago, if you are an expert of Excel, if you are an expert of building dashboards, doing data analysis on Excel, building dashboards, writing macro, then you can easily transfer this skill when you move on to advanced dashboard tools like Tableau or Microsoft BI or other tools. So once you master some fundamental skills, you can easily move on
Hmm.
and handle all the other tools. So in the generative AI space, I think one fundamental skill is your ability to communicate with the AI models. Most people should master the skills of communicating, writing effective prompts when talking to these AI models. So if you can
Hmm.
master prompt writing, and if you can master prompt writing for ChatGPT, you can easily use the same on Gemini, on Claude. And if you have a very replicable workflow when working with an AI tools from the concept to production, you can also migrate that workflow with new tools, uh, with other projects. So this is what I call the transferable skills.
You come from a marketing and marketing analytics background. I'm a former data analyst, web analytics, and data scientist. So you actually would have been my customer. Um, how do you approach teaching these AI concepts you just mentioned to people with varying levels of technical background?
Yeah, that's a great question. The benefit of generative AI is that we anyone can communicate with AI models with their natural language. So that makes the learning and training easier
Hmm.
because you of course I talk about the fundamental concepts and how they work, why they work, what kind of what you can do with the AI tools. But I always encourage people to test, to learn by practice. The AI model may work for others, for other
Hmm.
people's use cases, but it may not work for your use case. And so for some people, some use cases, Cloud 3.5 might be better. But for
Hmm.
your case, maybe you are most suitable to use Gemini 4.0 mini.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Hmm.
so yeah, so it really depends on uh, your particular use cases, and I always encourage people to get their hands on it, just try
Hmm.
it out and
Hmm.
follow effective methodologies, follow effective frameworks to get the results, to increase the increase the chance of success for your results. And the more you practice, the more you learn
Yeah,
the model, and eventually it'll be easier for you to form a to form an effective human AI collaboration model.
I like that. I like that. And I really like what you said about one tool that works for one person may not work for another person. So, for example, as far as LLMs are concerned, I'm a Claude guy, Claude 3.5, because I do a lot of coding. I do a lot of
Yeah, that
programming,
makes sense.
I build things, and Claude is very good at that.
Yeah.
Um, Lately, I am loving Llama um, because I'm an open source person. I like building things locally, and Llama's doing a bang up job at that. But I find it for marketers, they tend to like GPT. GPT-4 Omni does quite well for them, right?
Yeah.
I actually really appreciate Dolly's more fantastical and imaginative images, pictures that it can generate. However, my go-to with images is usually Stable Diffusion because again, I'm a local AI kind of guy, and I love the realism that comes out of Stable Diffusion, right? Different flavors for different people, which is what's wonderful. Based on your experience with ChatGPT or maybe Runway, Kling, etc., and the other alternatives, what do you think are some of the key differentiators between these various tools? So, for example, GPT and Claude, here's how they're different. Runway and Kling, here's how they're different.
I think from the way that they are trained, and
Mhm.
from how they will benefit from the use cases, right? From how they will benefit the users, I think they are pretty similar.
Yeah,
The Yeah, so if you are just looking for use cases like writing or technical writing, or if you just look for image creation or video creation, they can be very similar, right? But if your use case is very specific, then um, different tools will give you very different outputs. For
got it.
example, if I want to write something more casual, um, I can prompt ChatGPT to follow my style, or to follow a casual writing style, and give me something that give me something I expect. But the easier way is to go to other models like Llama 3. You can use it
Mhm.
on Meta AI or Gemini. Gemini is pretty good at writing. You don't have the typical ChatGPT words like delve into
Okay.
the realm of something something. Uh, I have seen so many of these kind of posts on LinkedIn and in the
Yeah,
comment,
yeah, 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 yeah.
in the emails. Yeah, I when I see that for 1 second, I know it's ChatGPT. Then I
Yeah.
respond. Yeah, that is for the large language models. For writing, there are differences. Then
Uh,
for the image models, right? If you look at if your use case is realistic human face, then maybe you're like Midjourney, right? Because it's pretty good at the close up human face. But then
mhm.
if your goal is to uh, express your exact idea, exact concept with an image, then DALL-E is the best because it has a very high prompt adherence. Basically, what you say in the prompt will be shown on the image. Although there might be some of them might be ugly, um, but everything you say in the prompt will be there. So that's a very good, a very effective tool for
Mhm.
concept visualization. And for video models, right? Just now you mentioned Runway versus Clean.
Mhm.
We're all very new to this, and
Right.
I'm lucky because I've done a lot more experiments with them.
Yeah,
Uh,
these things literally came out in the last 2 weeks. So,
Yeah, I've been using them like crazy. Yeah. So for Runway, for example, if you want to practice, if you want to learn video prompts, how to come up with the best video with just your prompt, your command, your natural language command, then I think Runway is pretty good. And I've tested multiple scenarios, multiple scenes. I think it's relatively easier to control, and it gives you pretty good, pretty consistent output. But if you look for image to video, then for some categories, clean is better. Then I'll be more inclined to use clean. But I'm still testing both tools. I'm also testing Luma's Dream Machine.
mm,
To For different use cases, they can be different. One tool can be very good at something, but uh, but not good at other things.
sure.
So we can never have. It's hard to give a holistic view of
It
which
is.
one is better. Yeah.
It is. It is. It's very difficult. I completely agree with you. I cut my teeth on open source models from an image generation perspective, particularly Stable Diffusion.
Mm.
And even with Stable Diffusion, the base model usually is not enough. Uh, you go to the communities models, once for realism, once for anime, once for Disney, once for any different flavor. So yeah, even with open source material, I completely agree with you. One tool just doesn't do all of it. They can come close. One tool can be the jack of all trades, but it doesn't always get things right.
Yeah.
And I think that's what's wonderful about Gen AI. There are different flavors for different people.
Yeah, I think that should be the case because
Yeah.
imagine if you have to train an AI model, an AI image or video model that covers everything, that excels at everything, then I don't even think we have the enough electricity, enough resources in the world
Enough
to
power. That's
train
right.
that
Yeah.
model. It's
Yeah.
impossible. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. You Great point. Great point. The sheer energy and the sheer technology and the resources it takes to make these things run, it's actually not talked about enough. You
yeah.
know, I can talk about one client that I worked with, where they requested I built a local and customized um, like a solution, LLM solution for them, right? And by the time I gathered what they want, they basically wanted ChatGPT, right? For
Yeah,
their own purpose. And
yeah,
I had to go, no, look, you don't understand. There's billions of dollars spinning in the background of ChatGPT. There is no way you're going to be able to run this on your own machine. It's just not feasible, right?
yeah,
And like you said, you have to pick your battles. And the amount of energy it takes, the amount of resources it takes to make these things is crazy. Yeah, that's
yeah.
a great point. That's a really, really good point. I'm glad you brought that up. Let's shift gears for a second. LinkedIn. You are a big voice on LinkedIn. You are a big AI voice on LinkedIn. Can you tell us a little bit about your LinkedIn experience and your journey?
Thank you. Yeah, I don't think I'm a big boy. I don't think I'm a big voice on LinkedIn. I think I just focus on sharing my learnings, my own experiments. I try not to share what's in the news. Like I see a lot of news on Twitter, right, on X.
Mhm.
There's no point of sharing the same thing on LinkedIn and uh, and then people will. I mean, we don't prefer reading the same thing twice, three times.
Sure.
Yeah. So my only focus is my learning and the training and all the content that I think will benefit other people. At the beginning, I was able to post more on LinkedIn is because of ChatGPT. Because of ChatGPT, it's easier to write. So I spent the first 3 months, starting from March until June, I was
Mhm.
using ChatGPT to write posts.
Hmm.
Uh, and you can guess the result. I lost 100 followers.
Okay.
Although I was writing about my own experiments. I create presentations. I share my a lot of what I see, what I perceive, what I saw, valuable stuff. I still
Mhm.
lost followers. Then I realized that people don't like people still prefer content created by people.
Sure.
Uh,
Authentic,
so I
authentic
shifted,
content by people.
yeah. So I shifted uh, my my content strategy a bit. So I still post about my experiments and my own experience about AI on LinkedIn, but I started to write on my own. So then it took me 3 months to go through to transition from writing with ChatGPT 100% to writing with my own brain 100%. So right now, I only so if you can notice, uh, every single post after August, after okay, every single post in the past 12 months that I post on LinkedIn was written by myself. So I use
Hmm.
this as a way to exercise my brain and share and be more authentic in my sharing. And of course, I also use AI to do the grammar revision and optimizing the post. Yeah,
You mentioned.
so then it turned out to be the result turned out to be exceptionally well because I think although we can use AI to do a lot of things, people still prefer the authentic voice, and I think they still prefer, uh, yeah, they still prefer talking to people instead of reading the the AI
Mhm.
the AI sounding posts.
I completely agree with you. I completely
But,
agree
but
with
of
you.
course, you can humanize your AI written content. That's another story.
That's
It's
another
my
story. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So writing on LinkedIn is my personal choice because I think I need to exercise my brain. I want to be more authentic. I want to writing is very helpful for me to organize my thoughts
Yeah.
and consolidate my learning. Yeah.
I 100% agree with you with what you said about authenticity and your own voice. I've actually noticed that with my own content. I've been on LinkedIn. I've been actively on LinkedIn about maybe I want to say 4 months now. And even in those 4 months, I've seen the difference between how an AI generated quote unquote content performs versus my content, my own voice, and my own thoughts. There's a definitely a stark difference. You can use AI to help you with the process, but not take over the process, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Ultimately, you are thinking, even if you are using AI to write everything, you still have to reflect uh, your own critical thinking, your own
Mhm.
ideas. Yeah, I've seen very good AI generated content, AI written articles, but that means the author has spent time
Of
crafting
course,
thought. Yeah, and embedding the thought inside the article so that it looks perfect. Yeah,
of
but
course.
whether using AI or not, um, I think critical thinking is the most important. Authenticity is the most important.
It's most important. I could not agree more with what you just said. I absolutely agree with you. You had mentioned there's a stark difference between how you were writing from August 2023 to now, right? Um, can you estimate how long, once you switched to your own style, your own voice, how long did it take you to, get to the level of followership that you have now?
Um, there's no direct correlation between the number of followers and what you write
Mhm.
on LinkedIn. And so my focus was not gaining followers. My focus is more about building the partnerships, meeting friends, meeting new friends, building
Awesome.
partnerships
Awesome.
on LinkedIn. And yeah, if I can get more followers, that's even better. But ultimately, I want to, yeah, I do hope that my content will go viral, for example. I do hope that, but that's not up to me.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So I try to, yeah, I actually spend more time writing. Of course, if I don't use AI, I spend more time writing, researching, right, doing the experiments and writing the content. But I think it's worth the effort because the whole process is a learning process. And when you share your learning with others, you gain you have immediately you have the feedback, and then you may gain leads or business partnerships, or yeah, and then the return on investment is not only your follower growth or the number of impressions. These are superficial uh, targets, but
Mhm.
yeah. So I think the most important is how does it really help you building your business or building your personal brand on
Your
the
brand,
platform.
right? Right. Wonderfully said. Wonderfully said. The goal is to build your brand, meet like-minded people, build partnerships,
Yeah.
and if followership comes along with it, that's a bonus. Well, as we wrap up, can we talk a little bit about ethics in AI and ethical considerations when teaching people AI and different AI tools and the capabilities that these AI tools have?
Yeah, absolutely. I think with greater capabilities comes with greater responsibility, and
Mhm.
ethics in AI or responsible AI is always something that shouldn't be missing in every single AI course or or education content. So I can give you one example of the DALI course. So this DALI course, I work with Ronnie, and we have this course on Udemy, and it was the bestseller for 5 or 6 months. Yeah. So that for when developing the course, um, the purpose is to um, empower everyone to create images with DALI as they imagine. But you can't really create anything you imagine because there's boundaries of legal and ethical, and there's legal and ethical boundaries. And also, there's a problem with the model. Every single AI model, or especially the image model, um, could be biased, right? And
Mhm.
how
Absolutely.
do we? And the model is already there. They can't retrain the model and make it less biased. Maybe we can wait for another half a year or a year. But while you are using the model, I think it's up to the user's responsibility to um, to fine tune the output and make it less biased, make it unbiased. So when using the model, right? So when using tools like DALI, there are considerations like people may use the name of the artists, the name of the copyrighted works in their prompt because maybe they can have a better result uh, by using this, by using the specific names of the artist or name of the artworks. In my in my training content, I never advocate this kind of prompt writing because it's just not the right thing to do because
Mhm.
these are copyrighted content and
Right.
there's a potential of violating the intellectual property rights of these authors. And OpenAI actually has this policy enforced with their DALL-E master prompt. So you can't use the names of the artists or artworks in the 20th century or later. There are ways to bypass this, but I wouldn't advocate this. And
Mhm.
in my trainings, I don't advocate anything that bypass the safeguards or bypass the system prompt.
Hmm. That's a great point. That's a really, really good point. And that's actually been a point of contention in the open source community as well. I remember when I first started training my own models within Stable Diffusion, I had trouble creating my own likeness, even if I trained the model with my pictures,
Yeah,
because the base model just didn't quite understand the skin tone of someone like me, the features of somebody like me, but it much more preferred what you would typically get in, let's say, like Google Images, right? And that actually extrapolates to things like voice cloning, facial detection, face swaps,
yeah,
etc., right? So that's yeah, everything that you just said about prompting away an artist's name is all that's a point of contention as well in the open source community is what is okay to train and what is not okay to train, right? What is considered good enough consent and what is not in
yeah,
training. It's yeah, it's an ever-growing topic that it's hard to pinpoint where the line is, but I'm super super happy to hear that as somebody who actively teaches people, um, that ethical consideration is something that's on the forefront of your mind, and you actively tell people what to and what not to prompt and what to do. That's wonderful to hear. Please tell the audience, how do we get a hold of you? How do we find out more about you? And how do we find out more about your content and what you're doing?
yeah. Thank you so much, Beck. Yeah, I share my latest experiments on LinkedIn a lot. I try to post more than at least 3 times a week on LinkedIn.
Mhm.
If you want to learn about the latest top AI tools and developments, you can just follow my LinkedIn account. And then if you want to learn more about ChatGPT, consider getting this book on Amazon. Yeah, so this will help you becoming AI powered manager in the workplace.
Sounds good. Sounds wonderful. I really enjoy your content. I can definitely see what you post is in your voice. That's absolutely what attracted me to following you. I particularly appreciated your experiments on Runway Gen 3. And I think you had mentioned you built a ChatGPT prompt bot for Runway as
Yeah,
well.
I
Is
built
that right?
a
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
custom GPT for writing the prompts. It's quite easy to.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, maybe I should do one for Clean.
You should do one for Kling. You absolutely should do one for Kling. So I definitely appreciate your content. It's very original. It's in your voice. I can hear it when I read it. Um, Thank you so much for being on this show. Really appreciate you grace us with your presence, and I really appreciate your time. I hope to talk to you soon.
Thank you so much.
So
I'll talk to you again.